Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of February. Today, I was so excited to realize, is 2/2/22. Too bad it's not also Tuesday. That would be cool. Anyway, happy Wednesday, and this is Change the Shed. And I'm so glad you're all here. It is snowing in Colorado. You can't see out this window, but I think we got 6 or 8 inches last night, and it's still snowing, so yay for snow. We need as much as we can get between now and April. So congratulations to Mary. I hear it's your retirement day from UW-Madison. Woohoo! I actually went to school in Wisconsin, but not to your school. I hope you all are staying warm and having a good day. Some of you are doing some weaving from various classes and or taking a break from work. Thanks for coming to Change the Shed on your break. It's snowing on the East Coast. It's snowing in Colorado. It's snowing in New Mexico, of all things. Snow is good. All right. Today I am working on this frame loom. As you can see, I have, that loom is empty. I finished the wildflower piece, and I am working on a frame loom that I bought a couple years ago and have been wanting to try out for a long time. I needed to do a sample for a class, and so I'm going to show you this particular loom. Actually, I took a picture of it so I don't have to screw with the camera too much. It's this loom. It's sold by Weaversbazaar. It's made by Andrew Dickinson. And so if you're in the UK, these looms are really popular in the UK, these frame looms with a piece of wood on the top and the bottom and threaded rod on the sides. So they're all over. I've seen them used a ton in the UK, and they're great because you get tension and it's super simple. And I really like this loom. This is a really nice one. The wood is so pretty. So also it has these really cool side supports. You can see in the photo that it's clamped on this thing, and the clamps allow the loom to rotate. So that's really fun. Weavers Bazaar sells these, so if you want one, I don't have an affiliate agreement with anyone. I just use the stuff that I like, and Weavers Bazaar is a wonderful business, and Andrew Dickinson's a great craftsman. So he's also the guy who made these hand tips, and he makes bobbins and stuff. So he sells through Weavers Bazaar and on his own website. Anyway, that's what I'm doing today. So I'm working on this little sample. Oh, I also put that picture up because I'm going to modify this sample first thing, so it won't look quite like what you see in the photo. So hello from all over. I saw that Julia's here from Germany, and Laureline from Montreal, and Paula from Vermont, where it is snowing. And Chicago, all over. It's really fun to have you all show up. Jocelyn's here from Washington, and Amy from right down the road. Hey, Amy, glad you're here. Colorado's getting much needed snow today. Eva from Spain. Hello, Eva. Cheyenne, Deb's right up the road. So I got Amy right down the road and Deb right up the road in Cheyenne. Cheyenne's only about 45 miles from Fort Collins, which we all forget that we live so close to Wyoming. Marlena from Texas, and Victoria, BC. And yes, Marlena, the answer is yes. I'm going to wait a little while, but I will do that. I will show you the wildflower tapestry. Leslie from Vermont, Naya from Santa Fe, Colin's from Santa Fe, snowing in Santa Fe. I saw my favorite bakery in Santa Fe. I follow on Instagram because it just makes me hungry. I probably shouldn't, but Revolution Bakery closed today for snow day. All of our schools here in Colorado are closed today. Not that that affects me, but as long as the internet works, it's business as usual. Okay, so I'm gonna take this frame loom picture off, and I will find my other camera, and I'm going to work on this. So this is the little, So here's the thing about this sample. This is Weaver's Bazaar Heavy. So it is, Weaver's Bazaar makes 3 weights of wool yarn, fine, medium, and heavy. And I usually use the fine and medium, and you'll have seen me use those a lot on Change the Shed. The fire tapestries, I used the fine yarn, and actually even in the wildflower tapestry, I used fine Weaver's Bazaar for outlines. So, but they have a heavy yarn, and I have some of it because I keep meaning to try it because students ask me about it. It is thinner than Harrisville Highland, which is the yarn that I often ask people to use when they're brand new to tapestry, because you can use just 1 strand at a time at 8 ends per inch. This is thinner than that. And so 1 strand doesn't work very well with the warp I usually use, which is 12/6 cotton seine twine. But I had a student that in the UK that's using this yarn, and we had a long discussion and talked a lot about ways to use this yarn best at these kinds of sets, which are, the easiest to learn at. Around 8 EPI is really nice. So a fatter warp is the answer. This is 12/12 cotton seine twine. And of course that makes sense. If you have a fatter warp, the space between the warps is smaller. And so your weft can be a little bit thinner and still make a fabric that is not super sleazy or doesn't move too much on your warp. So I started doing this, as you saw in that picture. Here, I'll put that picture up one more time. Right here, you can see there's actually 3 colors in there, but they're so close. Weaver's Bazaar has nice gradations. They're so close in color that I didn't like that I couldn't really see the change. This is a sample. It doesn't matter. I'm just messing around, but I wanted to add a little outline in here. So I took out one of the colors, I pushed the other one up, and I'm going to add the outline with a needle. And this is just to show you that you can. This is just what I would have done if you weren't here with me, but it's also to show you that you can actually do a lot of things after you've woven something. I want to add 1 row of this gold color. I don't know how well you can. Yeah, I'm going to add that in here. Of course, I need to add a full sequence or my shed will be wrong. So I will fix that after I put this in. This weft is thinner than I'm used to at 8 EPI, so I was pretty skeptical about it, to be honest, but it seems to be working great. Let's see, I'm looking here. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, I want that one covered and this one covered, so I need a pigtail here. I'm going to do that with a needle. Wonder if I can. Oops. Get in even closer there. That's probably better. Just gonna do I'm weaving from the front here, just so you know, because in the last episodes I've been weaving from the back, so I don't want to confuse you too much. Because this is a sample and I just want to see the effects of this yarn at this set with this warp. I'm just weaving this from the front. Just trying to make sure I get enough weft in there. And that one I'm not going to pigtail because it covered, I want dots to go across, and it covered that one, and I don't want it to cover that one. Okay, so now I do have to put in another row of weft though, or my sheds will be wrong. Because this is in the same shed as that. So you'll see, maybe not, this is pretty thin, but I think you'll see, if I didn't do that right here, you would see a bit of the warp. So we'll put in another pick of the blue. This is the same blue that's up there, and that will fix it. And then we can put it all back together. Hello, everybody. Alberta. I bet it's cold there, Carolyn. Oh, Colin, sorry. Testing my eyesight from this distance. Hey, Darylyn in Manhattan. Happy Groundhog Day. Yeah. Groundhog Day indeed. 2222. I like wild dates. Okay, this is... Christine says she uses Weaver's Bazaar with 12/6, one strand of heavy all the time, and she doesn't have any issue with it. So, you know, it's all in what you're trying to do. I will say, Christine, that I tend to think in terms of large format work, and so I think you can get away with murder. I mean, you can get away with all kinds of stuff in small format stuff, especially because you're probably going to mount it, and so you can get away with a lot more than you would in a large piece. I would never weave this yarn at on 12/6, which is a very thin cotton warp, for a very large piece. I don't think it would be a very stable textile, but the fatter warp seems to help a lot. So all I'm doing is just pushing this back down. Magic! I was pretty sure that was going to work, or I wouldn't have done it live, but and then I have a little row of dots there. Okay, so we can put in the next color. Let me just see. Okay. Hello, Sybil from Switzerland, from Basel. Just like darning, that's right, Marlena. We're just gonna open it up and fix it. Welcome, Hillary from the UK. And yeah, cold all over the place. Okay, we're gonna add, so, and I should just say also for Christine and everybody else that there's no like set rules for stuff. This is your art. You can do whatever you want. And if just because I say this isn't a good match or something, I don't like these materials or whatever, I have reasons for that, but that doesn't mean you can't do what you want. So I just realized I need another outline or I'm gonna not be happy. So let's do that again, this time without having to push up any weaving. The materials that you use should serve your vision of what you want to make, and that is really the only important thing. Now, there is another thing when I'm looking at this. If I put this in just like that, the dots are going to line up. Do I want them to alternate, or do I want them to line up in a row? So I actually kind of want them to alternate. So that means I need them in the other shed. And how could I do that without having 400 tails? Let's do this. This is the same blue. Had I thought of this before I cut these off, I would have just done another pick of this color. Okay. I'm gonna pigtail this. I'm just messing around. I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll try it. So I did one row of that, and now I'm gonna add this in the other shed. So on these looms with an open shed, I'm picking the back shed. You can actually see that pretty well, can't you? At 8 ends per inch with a fat warp, it's really nice to pick a shed like that. So that moved the dots over to the other warp. And I want this one covered, so let's pigtail that. Okay, and now my question was whether I can use, I left this long because actually, I don't need that. There's no reason why I can't start the next color now. So I didn't need to do that. These are Iris. This is a color called Iris from Weaver's Bazaar, and I have 6 of them in gradation. They're really nice. Oh, I already have a, yeah, this is the next color. Yeah, Michelle, the outline is the same, Weaver's Bazaar, heavy. And I'm not doing like a split, I didn't do a split weft outline or anything. When the colors were so close, it wouldn't make that much difference anyway, but even now, I'm not doing that outlining that I was doing so much in the Wildflower tapestry. So now I'm just filling this in. I don't know if you saw, I put in a long piece of this blue. So I have two tails. So this side is going to weave in at the other end. Just filling in this little hole. So the student that I was talking about this combination with has gone on to figure it all out herself. She didn't need me to do this, but I was so curious, and I had already purchased this yarn to try it. I was so curious to try it myself that here we are. I think the fabric's going to be pretty nice, but I won't know till I get it off the loom. Okay, so now that's sort of level, and I want to fill this in till that's level. Not the most skilled at picking warps. My friends who do this all the time will be faster at this kind of weaving. It is fun though, especially like I said on a loom that's fairly long with a nice open shed and a fat warp at 8 ends per inch. And that's the open shed, so easy to get to. And then I pick about an inch or less at a time and beat that in. So that makes a difference for weft tension too. If you struggle a lot with weft tension and you're putting in long, you're putting in lots of weft at once, if you try going to smaller amounts of weft at once, like, 4, an inch, and beat that in, you might have more luck. It works best with bobbins because it's faster to have the, bobbin in your hand, so you're putting the weft in and beating. I am struggling here already with some ridging. You can see every other one is popping forward a little bit. That's because of the open shed. And this yarn is fairly shiny. It looks fuzzier than the other Weaver's Bazaar, but it's still, the surface of the tapestry is still pretty smooth. So it shows everything. Shows all your learning experiences. I'm trying to get the ridges to even out. So this is a really nice yarn. I've avoided using it just because I like the bundling with the thin yarn, but this is I think this is really nice. Weaver's Bazaar sells a warp that's not this exact warp. This is 1212 cotton seine twine from Bachman's, but Weaver's Bazaar sells one that is a similar size. I think they call it 6S, but you could compare by looking at the yards per pound of both of those warps. The Bakens warp is from Sweden, so you should be able to get that in Europe also. I've had some European students lately ask me where to get stuff outside of the UK. Sorry, UK people, but Brexit is making it really expensive for them to get stuff from the tapestry shops in the UK. And I just don't have a lot of good resources for you there beyond some various shops that have a few things. So anybody knows of a weaving shop that carries stuff for tapestry weavers that's in Berlin or France or somewhere that isn't in the UK, there's a lot of people who would love to know about it. With apologies again to those of you in the UK who want us to keep buying from the UK. I'm sure we will again. It's just that it's made things more expensive. So Betsy asked, did I say what loom this is? I didn't. I don't know that it has a name. If you go to Weavers Bazaar, to their website, this is the loom they sell. It's made by Andrew Dickinson. It's just called a frame tapestry loom or something like that. And I highly recommend the little edge. You can see right here, this is a little clamp. I actually have this clamped to another board because the table I'm using has a really fat edge, like a rolled edge. And these clamps, the clamps that come with this holder are fairly large. They could go on a fairly fat table, but this particular table has a really weird edge on it and it didn't work. So I had to clamp another board to the table and then clamp the loom to that. I think this might be the only frame on their website right now, so it shouldn't be. Oh, so now I've made that level as I was talking, and that wasn't actually what I intended to do. Wow, okay. Let's just modify our plan here. I was actually going to have another row of this come down like this, but as you all have seen, anytime I am live, I lose my concentration and screw up. That's not to say I don't screw up the rest of the time either. You can actually splice this yarn. It is, the plies are not twisted very much, but you can splice it. The rulers, oh, Paula asked about the rulers, which you can see right here. Those are just little stickers that they send with the loom. You don't have to put them on, but it makes it easier to warp the loom to have the rulers on there. There's many ways you could do that. You could just mark right on the wood if you wanted to, but it's such a beautiful loom, I didn't want to mark on the wood. I'm going to get your name wrong. Nitsetsi says, I have 4 lines on the bottom to fix the bottom. I either do 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. You want to do more than 2. So this is just a stretcher string, which actually, this is the first time I've used this loom, and this is wider than some of the other looms I do this on. So were I to do this again, I would have put the ties on the edge a little higher up here. You can just see that, so that these strings were level. I had to fuss with the waste yarn to make the whole thing go in. But yes, this is, I did 3. It doesn't, at least 3 is what you need for the ordering cord or stretcher string. I think I call it an ordering cord in my book, as do other people. I think Mirix maybe calls it a stretcher string, which is where I started using that term. Okay. Welcome, Barbara from San Diego. Glad you're here live. Okay, let me think about how I'm going to do this. Let me just think a minute. I'm going to adjust that weft tension a little. I backed it up here. I'm going to back it up pretty drastically. Just for fun. This is the front. So I'm going to wrap here and make a valley thread on the edge for a smoother curve. Those of you who've had the warp and weft class for a long time might not know that I did an upgrade to part 2 last year, where I had a whole new section about angles, and I did some videos about hill and valley threads, which at least one video. I talk about hill and valleys a lot in that segment. So if you have had warp and weft for a long time and you haven't seen that new section, go back to part 2 and take a look. One, two, three. Okay, that'll work. I tried to put a light on this side so that I didn't have all this shadow happening, but then the light is staring straight into the other camera. So I have to put a light overhead, I guess. Someday, in my next studio, there will be suspended lights over all of the work surfaces. Okay, I'm going to make this a little steeper now. End up with more of this color than I wanted, but whatever. I'm not sure what you mean, Finnegan. Why are the bottom rows left loose? Oh, I know what you mean. This is just an ordering cord. This is not part of the weaving. This thing down here is what you put on when it's warped, and they're stretched really tight. So there's no way they're going to pack together. This is warp thread. The purpose of this is just to keep the bottom of the tapestry firm and to give me something to beat against. So that will just get cut out, is what I'm saying. It's not part of the tapestry. Okay. Oh, Robin, I'm not sure what you're asking about, Robin, but this is waist. This is also not part of the tapestry. This is called an ordering cord. This is called waist. And I do talk about this is how you start a tapestry. I talk about it in every single one of my beginning tapestry courses. So intro to tapestry, warp and weft, or weaving tapestry and little looms. All of those classes talk extensively about how to start your tapestries. Okay, where was this one? In my head, I'm thinking about how I'm going to make this curve. I do often use cartoons, but I was inspired by Susan Martin Maffei. Always inspires me. She's amazing. She had a talk yesterday with Textiles and Tea that HGA is doing, and she talked about her practice. Her practice over the most of her career is she doesn't use cartoons, and she talks about just she creates the forms in her head and then she weaves them. And I like that. I also have a very spatial relationship with the world. And so I'm just thinking about how I want that curve to look and how I'm going to make that happen. Okay, this is going to be the last of this, I think. Let's see, I am going to go here and then here. Oh yeah, Hillary says the paper rulers that you get at IKEA. You know when you go to IKEA and they have those paper rulers to measure stuff? I think they're assuming you actually measured your house before you got there, but you know, that's a lot of faith on their part. Those probably would totally work. I think at the bottom you could just sandwich it under the warp here and it would probably stay. Okay, let's put in another dotted line. Let's see what shed I'm in. Okay, this will be right. So I was just checking to see again where the dots would end up, and I'm every other one, if I want it to shift back and forth, this one was here and this one was here, and so I want it, the dot will be on the hill thread, which is right there. The dot will be there as it was down there. Welcome, Catherine. Another first-time liver. I mean, first time being here live. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Again, I want this edge one covered with the mustard color, so I'm going to pigtail it. And then my next color is Iris 3. Don't worry, I have not forgotten the Wildflower Tapestry. I'm going to show you that. But, oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if maybe Ghislaine is here. Ghislaine, I didn't see her name, but I can ask her about Abusan's website and their Tenature Abusan. So Nadia is this amazing dyer who has taken over the dye house in Abusan, France for Thierry Roger, which sorry about the French. But Nadia is Petrovic. Is that close? Has taken over, and I'm so thrilled. I didn't even know she was going to have a website, so that's really exciting. I will watch for that. I don't have the yarn. I have some of her yarn or Theory's yarn here somewhere, but it's not within striking distance. A smarter person would have wound the sun bobbins before doing this, but that's what I get for talking. And okay. Anyway, the yarn that they're dyeing in Abusan is gorgeous, and they've been dyeing it the same way for a very long time, and it would be really exciting if it was available, although honestly I don't know how she'll keep up if she starts getting orders from around the world, because I think keeping the Abusan weavers in yarn is probably also a huge task. But if anyone can do it, Nadia can. She's amazing. Robin, so the beige is the waist and the cream colors your selvage. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're this is actually a peach, and so I think I'm just confused about the colors. This is the waist, and this is ordering cord, and this is the header. This is the start of the tapestry. Yeah, I would recommend going back and watching the Textiles and Tea from yesterday. You can stream them. They are recorded and on Facebook, or HGA will have it, the recording up, linked on their website and their YouTube channel. Soon, it might already be up. But for Susan Martin Maffei's talk, there's tons of talks on there. Many of them are fantastic, and you should definitely watch them. I did one a long time ago. Now it feels like forever ago. They started doing Textiles and Tea with the pandemic, of course. Catherine, that's a big question. I'm not going to address the front or the back question here because I'll go on forever, but I did write several blog posts about it, and I talk about it a lot in different online courses. I like both. I think it's good to have the skills of being able to do both. But basically, I tend to weave from the front on smaller things and from the back on bigger things. Oh, thanks for reading my book, Laura. I appreciate that. I meant to have my book here. It's, and of course I forgot. It's called The Art of Tapestry Weaving. And it is a how-to book. It tells you how to do all of these things. Probably all the things I mentioned are in that book, like the Hill and Valley thread stuff. And okay, so now I'm back to the same thing. I'm just going to fill this in. Eventually, I'm going to do a band of each color and then a different pattern at the top, just to play with this yarn some. Ooh, maybe I can make it postcard size, and it could be for the next, whatever the next postcard exchange that comes up is. I love those sort of small format exchange kind of things. ATA does them a lot. Other people do them, but they often come at a time where I just am not able to weave something for it. But if I had something already woven, that'd be great. Best idea I've had today. Robin, I'm sure the colors look different. Peach versus beige, whatever. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of trouble with blue violets, even if I use them in my tapestries, photographing them so that the color is true, which is yet another reason that I love I pay somebody to take professional photographs of my big tapestries because he is really careful to match the colors of so that the tapestry and the photo have the same color is all I'm trying to say there. Okay, let me show you the Wildflower tapestry. Anybody have any other questions about this is just a little sample. I am working on here, let's see if I do this. Okay. I'm working on design for the next piece. I have enough warp on that loom. You can just see behind me right there, the warp on the Harrisville rug loom going over this little bar right there. That's the warp extender. I have definitely have enough for one more piece of the same size. So I'll be hooking that warp up, I hope, in the next couple weeks and forging ahead with the next tapestry in this series. I have many ideas for this particular series, and so I'll be working on those soon. So you may see another tapestry starting on this other loom. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know. That's pushing it, but maybe. I have a colorway dyed that I might use, and if I end up not having to dye yarn, then I will do that. So here's the Wildflower tapestry, and sorry, you can't quite see it all at once. I actually have a photo. I can show you the whole thing at once, but it was woven this way. Yeah, it was woven this way. And actually I kind of like it this way, to be honest. Some of my ideas involve doing forms like this and hung this way. It wouldn't be completely crazy if I ended up hanging this piece this way, but I have to decide before I finish the finishing, because you have to do the, obviously you have to make it so you can hang it. But This way, I'm still working on the finishing. I'm not even halfway done with the finishing. You can see all the tails on the back, but I've been needling in, let's see, I can probably show you. I can probably show you with this other camera. I've been needling in the little silk ends from these, just because I don't know that the silk, oh, hold on. Where is that? There we go. So remember I had Faru and silk mixed together. I'm needling in the silk and then just clipping off the splices of the wool because this wool I know will hold. This is Array and also feeling like it's holding really well. I have needled in all of the ones that are on the edge that were, you know, outlines or something like that, but I think I'm going to end up cutting off most of the splices with Array because I'm really pleased at how grabby it is and it seems to be really holding. So that's good news because otherwise I might be at this forever. Also picking dog hair off of the white wool. First time we've had a dog in a long time, and I had forgotten how the dog hair. Used to have a dog who came to my studio all the time, and dog hair everywhere. So thank you all. Oh, here, I'll show you a picture. So, because sometimes it's, there's a picture of it on the table. You can get a better feel for what it looks like. So that was super fun. It was a really fun weave. I'm still not completely sure what I feel about how I feel about the white, but I think I like it. I think it's interesting. I don't know that hanging on a white wall will be the best place to display it, but I think it certainly could be displayed on a like a colored wall, light gray or something like that. It'd be really pretty. So hopefully someone somewhere will want to have it in their house. Yeah, so super fun. It's called, I think the series is going to be called Perception Series. It's mostly about nature and humans' interaction with the natural world. And this, of course, ideas for this came on my hike last summer, 6 months ago. So thinking about the next hike and more. The next one I think will be about flowers again, and then I have one about mushrooms, and there's a whole bunch of them that have like mountains and rocks and those kind of ideas. So it should be fun. Cool. So thank you all for coming. I'm so happy to see you all. I'll be back in 2 weeks. That must be like February 16, something like that. Originally, I had it pushed a week later, but I had a schedule change, and so I will be back in 2 weeks. And I will see you all then. And keep your fingers crossed about the piece on the big loom. I'll post some pictures on Instagram about this little sample and let you know what I thought about the Weaver's Bazaar. But I really like it. I think it's a great yarn, the Weaver's Bazaar Heavy. So now I'm all about all 3 weights of Weaver's Bazaar. So try their yarn if you haven't. Cool. Thanks, you guys. It's been really fun to hang out with you. I hope that wherever you are, you're staying warm. And I hope we get a couple more inches of snow today because I can say that because I don't have to go anywhere, but we really need the moisture. So y'all are awesome, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.